Hello folks, my name's Chris and I am the trailer park stock trader. I started doing this in January of this year. Started investing with just $40 a week. I'm doing the channel basically because as I got started on this journey of trying to learn how to invest, everybody that I was finding on YouTube, not everybody, the vast majority of people, man, it was big bling. It was Ferraris in the background. Look at my mansion. I spent $100,000 on this stock today, and it just wasn't relatable. You know, I had to divide by 1,000 on everything they said to put in, and sometimes I still didn't have enough money to throw in at the price they were talking. So I just thought it'd be cool. You know, I'm on a little journey, you know, and I've increased my weekly contributions through the course of the year. I've got a current goal of trying to hit $4 grand by the end of the year, and hopefully we can get there. But basically, I just, you know, I want to not have the flash, not have the bling, just a regular trailer park dude trying to build up a trailer park empire. We're gonna get in here, we're gonna buy some dips, we're gonna watch them rip. That's what we do here. So we're gonna start off, basically I want to just do an overview of the portfolio in general. Gonna start off with a little segment that I'm gonna call Gravel Road Gains, where each week we're going to take a little quick look at the portfolio overall and just where we're at, how we're doing, and where we are on our way to the $4,000. So far this year, let's see, currently the portfolio overall is $3,730. Like I said, we're on a 2025 goal of $4 grand. I think we're gonna make it. You know, I mean, we've had some rough couple of weeks. Things have definitely been down. I was already up to the 4,000 once and we lost it. So hopefully the market will cooperate with us for the rest of the year and we can finish out strong and hit that $4,000 mark. So that $4,000 means, lost my green marker. There it is. That we are currently up 17.5% year to date. That is not bad for a rookie investor. I mean, the stock market, I think right now overall is at 13 or 14, so I'm a few points ahead. I'd like to be a lot more. At one point this year, I was up to 32%. Couldn't quite hang on to it. So that means we are up plus $555 for the year. I know, it's not big money. It's not huge. I'm probably never going to be rich, independently wealthy. It's not about that. But there's no reason why guys like us can't have more than what we got. Nothing wrong with getting more than you got, right? And so even if it is just little bits, hey, an extra $550 for a guy in a trailer park, that ain't bad. And compounding interest, we're going to grow this into something wonderful. So for a long time, it was like everybody thought you had to be rich to invest. You know, if you didn't have $100,000 to throw at this stuff, it just wasn't even worth it. And I guess back in the day, whenever you had to buy a full share of a stock, you know, oh, I'm going to buy a stock share of Amazon or, you know, Meta, you know, at $600+ you had to buy a full share, and then a lot of times there were huge trading fees that went along with it. You know, we're talking at some points $150 a trade. And it did keep folks like us out. But now with all these apps, Robinhood and all that stuff, you can do partial shares and do it for free practically. So there's no reason. You can put $5 into Meta now if you want to. So there's no reason for you not to be trading same way. And I'm not an expert. I don't want anybody to watch what I'm doing and think that that's what they need to do. This is more of a just join me on my journey and see what I can get done with it. You know, and maybe if you learn something along the way, that'll be cool. And hopefully it'll just inspire you to get your money in the game investing as well. So now I want to move on. We're going to move on to what I'm going to call the trailer park charts, which get this off of here. And we're going to go over what did I buy last week and what are we looking at buying this next coming week. So this week's purchases, I bought, let's go black. Ticker symbol HNST, the Honest Company. They make diapers and wipes and lotions and that kind of stuff. Not real exciting. Jessica Alba started the company. I'm sure you've heard of her. They've turned the CEO spot over to someone else. And man, it's heading in the right direction. And I'm not sure why, but this stock has been just diving lately. People are going a little risk off. They consider that to be a speculative stock. So they're just kind of bailing out. And so I started buying this stock. Oh my God. Started buying this stock back in May at $5.06 a share. And then in the meantime, this thing has gone, I don't know, that's not much of a stock chart, but you get the idea. Because now we're buying at, what was it yesterday? Yeah, $2.60. And why am I putting that in green? Because whenever a stock that good, making that kind of money, drops that low, that means I get to make money on it. You'll learn as we get to know each other. I love a good dip. This company is running debt-free. They are growing. The new CEO is culling them out of, she found several areas of their company that she didn't feel like they were doing well in, that wasn't being profitable. So their .com business, their online store, they're doing away with that. They're doing away with clothing line. They were partnered up with some other companies to do honest clothes. There's just not the repeat business in it, and there's not real good margins. So she's doing away with that, and they're getting out of the Canadian business. The whole thing with why buy Honest? Because providing people with a clean behind will make you money every time. Stupid, I know. But the other third spot they're getting out of is they're getting out of Canada. And apparently Canada does not value a clean behind the way we do here in the United States. And so they weren't picking up their products, so they're just gonna get out of Canada altogether. Year-to-date gains, I have lost some money on this one. As you can see, this is currently 2.5% of my portfolio. So this week I added $30. Not much, but at $2.60 a share, I was able to pile on, get a new good handful of shares from my Honest stock with my $30. And it helped cut out some of the negative. Whenever I made the purchase at the $2.60, at that point in time, I was 38% down. And just making that purchase of just $30 and adding that into the portfolio, that brought it to just 32% down. Still ugly, but I believe in this company. I think they're gonna get it turned around. Their earnings reports look pretty good. They're just a small company. They're just on their way, and it's gonna take a little while of them building and building and building for the Wall Streeters to look their way. And when they finally do, baby, off to the races. The 12-month forecast on this thing, the average 12-month forecast, I think is somewhere around $6 a share, which would be some really good upside from where we're buying right now. So, Honest, it's company number one. Company number two that we bought this week is CRM. Salesforce. they've been beaten down here a little bit lately as well, mainly because I think everybody got to look at them as a software company, just a SaaS company that might get left behind by AI. But what they've done is they've gone in and got this Einstein AI. They're talking about having AI agents that they're going to put into place. So I think they're going to go along with the trends. Their financials look good. When you look at the analysts' 12-month forecasts and stuff, the average, you're looking at a possible 30 to 40% upside, and that'll buy a whole lot of chiladas. So anyway, Salesforce CRM. Flip my little notes page here. So this week we added $60. So basically every week at this point, I'm up to where I'm doing $90 a week. So I only did 2 stocks this week. It was Honest at 30 and then CRM at 60. That accounted for my $90 that I was going to put in this week. Year to date, I am down 0.35%. Not bad, you know. Basically I'm flat on it, but it's a relatively new position. But I've gotten into it pretty fast. It is currently 8.5% of my portfolio, and typically I'll invest until I get something up to 10%, and then I stop buying until I build some other stuff up, and you know, it all balances out. Then you go back, add a little bit more, but try not to go over 10. I do have AMD, which is currently almost 19% of the portfolio, but that's because I stopped at 10% and then it just ran. So it took itself to 19%. I didn't invest in it past that point. But let's see. So, like I said, also, revenue from that Einstein AI that they kicked in was actually up, drove them up like 20% on that last earning report. So, that's what we did this week. Next week, looks like we're gonna go, I can't keep up with this little rag. So, Honest, Salesforce. Next week, you know, and I say next week, it's what I plan to buy at this point in time. Things can change. One of these stocks could go on a big run up and I might decide it's not the time to buy it. Something else in my portfolio might take a big old dip and I might decide that that's what I need to go with. But for right now, what I'm thinking I'm gonna go with is CELH, Celsius Energy Drinks. Probably ought to learn to spell it. Why Celsius? Because caffeine's king and coffee is getting expensive. I'm not even a big energy drink drinker. But I see all the young guys that I work with in the office, they're all over these things. And it was always Red Bull, forever it was Red Bull. And I watched all 3 of the guys in the office that I work in all flip over to Celsius. And so whatever they're doing in their marketing and all that, plus they just had the acquisition of Alani. Pepsi just bought in big. Pepsi's taken over the distribution for Alani and for Celsius. They also just acquired Rockstar energy drinks. So there's a lot going on with Celsius right now. They just took, and it makes no sense whatsoever. This company, their revenue, this is gonna blow you away. Their revenue was up 173% year over year in Q3. That's insane. How do you do that and then have the stock price go down 32% in 1 month? What? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Wall Street just suddenly decided to look away from Celsius. Currently, I am up 3% year to date. I was up much larger on the position before this big dip, but still up 3% in my portfolio. And it is currently 5% of the portfolio. So with the purchase make next week, you know, bump them up into the 6 or 7% range, but right now they're at 5%, so I still got plenty of room to add to them. And like I said, plus 3% so far year to date. Not great. It was a whole lot greater, but I truly believe that they're going to bounce back and have a great next year. So on to the next one that I figure I'll probably buy next week. I got into my very first ETF. I've been buying nothing but individual stocks, but this week I decided, or a couple of weeks ago, I decided to start a position in ticker symbol NLR. It's a nuclear ETF because I have a genuine belief that nuclear is about to go nuclear. We got data centers going up as fast as they can build them, big money getting spent on that, and they're gonna have to power these things. And wind and solar, they can't be trusted. You can have a non-windy day, you can have a cloudy day, you know, and this data centers, that power has got to be always on, always on. And nuclear is the way they're going to be able to make that happen. This, I don't know enough about it to be able to go in there and say this guy's going to be a winner or that guy's going to be a winner. So I just decided to buy the bundle. It's a good, it's got everything from miners, refiners, and all this kind of stuff. So it kind of covers the whole nuclear industry. It's a new position, like I said. It is currently 2.4% of my portfolio. The stock is up 60% year to date. Not in my portfolio, but year to date, overall, up 60%. That is good stuff. Hoping that'll continue. But it took a little dip. You'll learn to hear that a lot from me. I love dips. And so whenever I see a stock that's going up 60% in an industry and a sector that I like, and then all of a sudden we see a down dip of 15%, I'm jumping in. That's whenever I go. That's our whole thing here at the Trailer Park Stock Trader channel is we buy the dip and we watch it rip. Not everything I buy is going to be a dip, but most of it. So that's basically what I've got for y'all this week. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, it's crazy trying to do this all in one take and just one run, but it was fun. And I hope that next week y'all will come back and we'll take a look at how the portfolio is doing on the gravel road gains and see how the stock picks went that we've made and what we might be picking up for the week after that. And anyway, just join me as on my journey to building my trailer park empire. Thanks, y'all. See you next time.